such a great pleasure to be here in the great town of Southampton, in the community of Riverside, and very excited to be here with my colleagues, Presiding Officer Kevin McCaffrey and our Minority Leader Jason Richberg, leaders in the Suffolk County Legislature, and very happy to be here with the kids from the Head Start here. What a great job that they do. Thank you very much for your great work. Thank you for being here with us. And it's a great time to be here because we are here to make a announcement about a multi-million-dollar investment into our communities. I want to again point out and thank my colleagues because they not only are leadership in the legislature, they were both on the selection committee for these funds. So my thanks to the presiding officer and to our minority leader for their work and their leadership. And I want to thank all of my colleagues in the legislature, certainly Legislator Bridget Fleming, who represents the community. We'll be meeting up with her a little bit later, but also just across the river here is Legislator Al Krupski too, so I cannot not mention him and thank him. But all of our colleagues in the legislature, because without their support to put the funding in place in the 2023 operating budget out of ARPA Main Street funds, and to put money into the capital plan over the last few years in terms of JumpStart monies, we wouldn't be able to be making these awards. So my thanks to all of my colleagues in the legislature. Our thanks to the selection committee, which included the planning commissioner, Sarah Lansdale, Bob Fonte, Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers, and Melanie Sinisi from my office as well, who's typically, she's in the background back there. And of course, we want to thank our great friends and colleagues here in the town of Southampton, starting, of course, with my good friend, Supervisor Jay Schneiderman, who is a real leader and visionary and problem solver in government, which we need much more of today. So he's going to be saying a few words in just a few moments about what the town and the community vision is here. But I want to thank all of our town officials that are here from the town council. Tommy John Schiavone, thank you, Tommy John, for being here. Rick Martell, Cindy McNamara from the town board, thank you very much for being here and for your work. We also want to welcome from Renaissance Downtown, Sean McLean. We have with us from our family in Suffolk County, representing the commissioner, Joe Brown. The Chief Deputy Commissioner, Darnell Tyson, is here. Darnell, thank you very much for your work, and you'll see why what we're announcing, that's the work of Department of Public Works in Suffolk County is very important here. So I want to give a final special thank you to our United States Senator, Chuck Schumer, because it is he who led the effort, our entire congressional delegation, but it was Senator Schumer who led the effort to make sure that communities had resources coming out of the pandemic to make sure that they could recover and focus on long-term recovery, which is what we have done here. We've utilized most of our funding for wastewater infrastructure, which we'll be talking about in just a little while, but also in support of projects in our downtowns, like the work that is happening here. So for the last 12 years, and I do want to acknowledge one of the person who's not here, Peter Scully, who's our water quality czar, who has focused our efforts on investments in wastewater infrastructure. I want to thank him, and again, my colleagues out here, including Legislator Fleming, have been great partners in working to address water quality issues. So for the last 12 years, we've been steadfast in our commitment to protect our water by investing in wastewater infrastructure and to make Suffolk County a viable and attractive place to live and to work while maintaining our quality of life. We know that our long-term economic prosperity and our local economy are dependent on the success and the vibrancy of our downtowns. And we know critical to that success is wastewater infrastructure, is sewer infrastructure. These downtowns that we cherish are the places that are at the heart of our communities. We know that we cannot sustain our quality of life and do the work that is necessary in these downtowns without critical wastewater and infrastructure investments. So today we're taking strides in removing a barrier to achieving the vision that the supervisor will talk about here in Riverside. The presiding officer and minority leader and members of the legislature were helping to remove a barrier today in our announcement. So with my colleagues here, I am proud to announce that we are partnering with Supervisor Schneiderman and the town of Southampton, and that Suffolk County is committing $5 million to the town for its sewer project in the community. That's a lot of money, right? I wish I had $5 million. So this project, as I mentioned, is part of the town's Riverside Revitalization Action Plan that has worked to spur economic growth and vitality and is community-based and working with the local community. And again, the supervisor will talk about that. These funds will be used towards the first phase of construction, and the sewer infrastructure will serve as a catalyst for that transformation envisioned by the community and the town, fostering a diverse range of residential and commercial activities within the community. So in addition to this critical infrastructure investment, we're also proud to support, again, the presiding officer and our minority leaders proud to support another great project here in Riverside. The Children's Museum of the East End has been doing arts programming in Riverside since 2016, and now, with the support of Southampton, has opened a satellite location right here, which is just terrific.
Everybody like that, huh?
We want to thank Liz Bard and Lara Sweeney, the co-presidents of the Children's Museum of the East End. And again, with the support of my legislative colleagues here, we're proud to announce a JumpSmart grant award to support the efforts of the Children's Museum of the East End, the annex here in Riverside, a grant of an award of $114,000 in support of their mission here. No. That is what they asked for, and that is what they get. And so we're going to present those checks. They're the big checks. So these are not the checks you take right to the bank. You have to wait for the little check. But we're going to present the big check. But before we do that, I'm going to ask my colleagues to say a few words on the legislature, because again, we wouldn't be here without them, and then turn it over to the supervisor to talk about the vision here. So with that, I'll turn it over to our presiding officer, Kevin McCaffrey. Kevin.
Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Steve, for your leadership in this. You know, county executive wants to give us on the legislature the credit for this, but he was one of the ones that spearheaded this. He put this in his budget as well, and he made sure that this is something that we wanted to move forward. And it was great to partner with him in this great endeavor to put this money to great use. It's great to be out here on the East End swing of our countywide tour here of goodwill. It's great to be able to give away money. My colleague Jay Schneiderman, when we served together on the legislature, my former colleague, we didn't have any money to give away, you know. And no, this is, well, but it all came together, and we're happy to be here today to give this money for very good causes, and whether it be for these young people to be able to continue in their cultural endeavors, to be able to create economic development with clean wastewater technology that's going to be able to enhance the economic development of our downtowns, which is so vitally important. You know, this is all seed money. That $5 million sounds like a lot of money. It does not go all the way. You know, it doesn't. We still have more work to do. This is a very good start, and us on the legislature are committed to making sure that we find a long-term funding source so that we can expand these programs to make sure all of our communities have these same opportunities to grow their economic development as well. So it's a pleasure to be out here. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations to the awardees.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you all. Just so you know, the checks, you can use crayons, do work on them.
Yeah, good use for that.
That's a really good use for them.
Add a few more zeros.
Add a few more zeros. But $5 million of sewer infrastructure is really important to our communities. Connecting our folks to clean, treated water is also important. But, you know, investing in our children for the museum is so important. I know they're ready to go play, and so we're going to make sure that they have this money so they can go play. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, I think we're ready for the... Oh, I'm sorry.
Supervisor, yeah.
Oh my God, you're going to describe the vision. Supervisor Jay Schneiderman.
All right,
We're going to bring the check up.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve and Kevin and Jason, and some of my town colleagues are here. Councilman Schiavone is here, Councilwoman McNamara and Councilman Martell, and Councilman Bouvier was not able to be here. And it's always, it almost feels like Christmas came early this year, right? It's nice to have some of my former colleagues in the county out here on the East End and investing in our community. And what better way to invest in our community than right here, right, with the kids, right? Investing in the kids is that might be the smaller check. The larger check I want to talk a little. Well, first of all, to have the Children's Museum here in Head Start. This is actually this piece of land that we're sitting on. This town owns this facility. Town owns the building. Town built this building, but we made it available to Head Start for free and to the Children's Museum for free, because we know that those organizations are doing great work with the children of this community. So it's so important, and this is our future here. There's also a different future in terms of this Riverside area. So on the other side of the river, the beautiful Peconic River, is downtown Riverhead, and Riverhead is really having a resurgence. It's beautiful. There's great investments going on there, new housing being built. And what is the difference with that side of the river and this side of the river? This side does not have sewage treatment. And not having sewage treatment is a barrier, because we have people who want to build cafes and restaurants and offices and apartments, but they can't because of beneath us is our water table, and that water table feeds into Peconic River and then Peconic Bay. And without sewage treatment, you can't allow that kind of growth to happen. So that has been a barrier. Not the zoning. The town board put the zoning in place that will allow for the revitalization of this area. In fact, the potential for 2,000 apartments, 1,000 which will be absolutely affordable to our local workforce, and a lot of commercial development, and we're ready to go. But putting together the pieces for sewage treatment, you would not believe how challenging it is. First of all, it's really expensive. And if you don't have friends bringing you in money, then you have no choice other than to try to have the residents and businesses foot the bill for the infrastructure. And I can tell you it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The numbers don't work. You have to have that kind of investment. So what kind of number are we talking about? We're talking about $35 million. $35 million. So first it was Chuck Schumer. His office called me. I was actually going away for a couple of days. I get this call. Senator Schumer is committing $5 million to this project. $5 million. That got it started. $5 million. The town stepped up with, we're fortunate we have water quality money from a property transfer tax. The town, and we have several town people here, Dave Wilcox, our planning director, Teresa Mason, also from our planning department. Let's give them a round of applause. Town, and of course Frank Sapone, my deputy supervisor. Yeah. So the town committed $7 million toward this project. So that's 12. We've got today's announcement, $5 million. That gets us up to 17. And guess what? New York State's coming through with the rest. So we're getting, we believe through the EFC, a state program, and through Governor Hochul, we are going to see the rest of the money that'll get us phase one of this project without having to place that burden on any of the businesses or the residents of this area, so we can get them hooked up. And we're going to go one step further. we're also going to use CPF funds, the water quality funds, to hook up a lot of the residents free of charge so they don't have to cover any of the hookup fees. So that's a big deal too. So that's ahead. So, you know, it's an interesting moment that this is happening. We've been working on this for years and years. It's my last 2 months here. It's Steve and I. It's like a parting gift, I guess. You know, but this means so much to this community. So if you drive downtown by the circle here in Riverside and you see those boarded up buildings, and it's sad because the East End has experienced incredible prosperity. The Hamptons, the North Fork, but this area has lagged behind. It hasn't seen the kind of prosperity that it should have. This is the key component. So when you go through that area and you go, why are there so many boarded up buildings? Try to imagine the future, 5 years from now, when this sewage plant, treatment plant is all built and everybody's connected and new buildings are going up. Try to imagine that future. And that future is enabled through that last piece of the puzzle that we got today from my good friend, County Executive Steve Bellone in the legislature. So thank you so much.
Oh, we're going to do the checks.
Yeah, we should.